Hello everybody. Well, today we're going to be working on building the mount for the brake caliper. So that's what we're going to be working on now. And I had to go down and I got a piece of 3" by 3" piece of angle iron. I thought I could get this stuff in 1/8", but apparently they don't even make it that thin. So I had to get 3/16", which was the thinnest stuff that they had. So I had already put the piece down on the side and measured it out, and I ended up cutting off using my my blade. I've got a masonry blade on there, and it seems to work okay, but doesn't last as long as the steel blades do. But anyways, let's see. What I did is I measured out 1 1/4", and I cut off 1 inch. Wait, is it 1 1/4"? Make sure here. Yeah, I cut off 1 1/4" off of this 3 by 3 angle iron. So what I have left is 1 3/4". So now I'll show you how what these marks mean on this. All right. Well, this is what these marks are. I had already put this on to the cart onto the trike and measured it out from this area right here is where the bolts are going to be going through the pillow block bearing the frame and through this. I measured that out, and it looked like it came pretty close to being 1 5/8". So I measured up to there, 1 5/8". This plate is 5½ inches long. So I wanted to find the center of this so I can center the caliper. So half of 5½ inches is 2 3/4", and put a dot. So I needed to figure out what the distance is between these two bolts. So I measured that out, and between these two bolts it is 3 5/8 inches. So to find the center of 3 5/8 inches, I had to take 3 5/8 divided by 2, and it appears that it comes out to be closest to 1 13/16. So I got my tape measure out and marked 1 13/16. I then stuck that in the center where the first dot is at, and then I marked where 3 5/8 is at, put a dot, and marked it at 0. Right like that. So once I drill these two holes, this caliper, these bolts should go right in to where those holes are at, centered right on the angle iron. But I won't be able to put it in because of this big cylinder right here. So what I'm going to have to do then is, once I get those two drilled, I'll have to drill a center hole right there and then use this. I'll have to set my machine up with my hole cutting thing and then just go straight down through there, and this whole area right here will cut out a big old hole there. So this should fit right in there. It should, and if it don't, I'm going to be really super omega mad. But I think it will work because I'm going to make it work. That's why. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so I got the whole saw set up, and now it's time to hope and pray that it cuts through. everything's all bolted down. When it comes to using these kind of hole saws, you have to cut slow, real damn slow. So this is probably going to take me like an hour to cut this thing all the way through, because I go really, really slow, because I can't afford to break these teeth off and buy a new one. So I have to go really, really slow. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, wow, that was fast. Huh. Shit, I thought it'd taken an hour and it was just a split second. Wow, that's pretty cool. But anyways, that's what she looks like so far. So let me whip out my grinder and we're going to cut some of that out. Okay, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting out this and this, and I'm going to have to grind out some of this too. So that way it'll be able to fit in there a lot better. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Alright, here we go. I cut the pieces out there, and then I cut off these corners here, give it a little bit more stylish look to it. But the problem that I did have was grinding all that crap out of the very bottom there. I don't know how well you can see that, but I had to keep grinding and keep grinding and keep grinding so that way it wouldn't collide right there, and I just barely got it all the way down. Yeah. Now all I got to do is figure out the hole mounts for the pillow block bearing bolts. Then they're going to come up through here, and there we go. So, gotta do that next. Alright, well, got them drilled. So now, just taking my file, making the hole a little bit bigger. The file here, just in case I get the situation where I've got like just a slightly off. Last two holes here that I drilled on this, I couldn't measure, because I couldn't hold my tape measure and hold everything in place. Not only center it this way, side to side, but also back and forth. So I had to make sure that it wasn't going to do that. It wouldn't. There's two planes of space you got to worry about when you're putting on these brakes. You have to make sure that your brake caliper is centered right on to the disc in both directions. I'll show you here in a second. Alright, so what I was talking about here is that when it comes to putting these brakes, any brakes on, you have to make sure that you're centered this way and centered this way. So making sure, because if you're not centered, then one brake pad will wear more than the other one. I know that on the mechanical brakes it works that way if you're not centered right. Mechanical brakes you want to be able to make it so that way they can float and move, because if you don't, then you know you can start bending your disc, and I'll explain that in a different video, but this is what I'm doing here with this. So now I'm just gonna bolt it back together. Hopefully it's all lined up right. Okay. Well, got it on there. Let's see. Looks like this disc might be a little bent. That's alright. It's not like it's completely seasoned up. Huh. And I don't have any collision over here, or over here. Now, let's see here, what next? Bring this back and down over here in someplace. I'll probably just run the master cylinder up here somewhere, and then zip tie it or something like that to the frame, and then I'll probably put some type of little pivot arm on here. So. Yep, coming along, getting the brake installed, yeah! So now I just got to figure out where I want to put this. Alright, cool guys. So we got that all going. It's all put in place, yes. Yeah. A few little tight spots in certain areas, you know, when I go to rotate it, but that'll probably work its way out. Never know, I don't know. But yeah, so that's how I put that thing on there. Alright, so that's what I did today. So rate this video, comment, and this brake will be listed below in this video, or you can get one too. I got that off eBay. From a company called More Than Hundreds, and that's their eBay username. So there you go. Alright, you guys take it easy, and I hope you guys are finding these videos helpful. Alright, bye bye.
Who would've knew the obstacles that I ran through were put through equivalent to Lupe's cool.